Good evening, everyone. We are live. It's Monday, July 1st, and we have a major hurricane to talk about. Hurricane Beryl is making its way into the Caribbean right now, and it is very close to a Category 5. Latest Hurricane Hunter reconnaissance has measured 161 mile per hour wind on the northeastern eye wall. So that'll make it a Category 5 if that's confirmed. So they're making a few more passes, but we should hear from the National Hurricane Center in the next few hours regarding that. But right now, it is a 155 mile per hour hurricane. It needs to get to, I believe, 157 or 158 miles per hour before it hits Category 5, which it should do that because the pressure falls are continuing, and this thing it means business out there across the Caribbean. Jamaica is now under a hurricane warning, and we'll take a look at that here in just a second. If you're just now joining us, please click that like button, click that thumbs up button, share this with your friends and family, and comment where you're from. That'd be great. If you're over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It's basically liking a page on Facebook. Hit that subscribe button, hit all for notifications, and you'll be notified every time we go live over on YouTube as well. All right, let's get right into the latest details here. We're going to go over the satellite picture here first. And actually, let's go over tomorrow's weather first, and then we'll get into the tropics. All right, here is the latest hazards As of Monday evening here, out west, we have excessive heat warnings for a lot of California, just basically right off the coast of California, inland just a little bit. We got excessive heat warnings, very hot out that way. We have monsoonal flow coming in through New Mexico, little impulses coming around. We have severe weather actually ongoing parts of Nebraska. So we need to watch out that way. More flooding possible through parts of Nebraska into Iowa over the next few days. Several inches of rain up that way, and a lot of flooding through the Mississippi River Valley as well, as long as along the Missouri River Valley as well. Major flooding occurring across to Iowa, heading down towards St. Louis now. This will be making its way down towards probably the Memphis areas over the next week or so. So we'll see how that river rises will be ongoing down through Memphis very soon. So, anyways, hot weather is coming back into the forecast across parts of Texas and through Louisiana, parts of Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas. Any one of these orange is a heat advisory that's in effect for tomorrow. And the pink is excessive heat warnings, which means you'll have heat indexes possibly approaching 110 or going over 110 degrees in parts of Oklahoma into parts of Louisiana and eastern parts or northeastern parts of Texas. Alrighty, high temperatures for tomorrow. Start out here in Denver, 85 degrees. Down in Albuquerque, a few storms around 86. Go down here towards eastern or western Texas. We're approaching 100 in Amarillo, 101 Lubbock, 102 Midland, 102 plus in Dallas, 101 in San Antonio. Go over towards Monroe, 98. 95 for both Little Rock and Springfield, up towards Des Moines. 84 degrees, good chance of storms. Like I said, you're under that flood watch up that way. 94 St. Louis, get down towards the southeast. 85 Atlanta, 82 Charleston, and then 84 up here towards Cleveland for tomorrow. All right, real quick, let's take a look at rainfall over the next 7 days. You see out west, there is some monsoonal flow up this way. Down here in southern Texas, that could be some rainfall from Hurricane Beryl. We'll just have to see where it goes. But then general rain, scattered rain showers or scattered thunderstorms around the south. But as we get up north here towards basically north of I-70 in Missouri, probably talking at least 5 to 8 inches of rain over the next 7 days. Southern Iowa as well, maybe 4 to 5 inches up that way. We'll just have to see where where these little systems come around the periphery of this high and interact with this warm, moist air, and very could result in more flooding into the Mississippi River Valley, into the Missouri River Valley as well. So that's need to stay up on the weather up there. All right, let's take a look at Hurricane Beryl. Alrighty, so here's a satellite loop. You see as the sun goes down, turns black basically. So, but look at the presentation of this thing. This is a perfect eye wall with this thing. So this thing continues to fall in pressures. So this thing should hit Cat 5 possibly by the next advisory, since the hurricane hunters found 161-mile-per-hour wind, sustained wind on the northeastern part of the eye wall, right up in here. So we will see how this plays out. But there's going to be gusts, probably upwards of 190 miles per hour with this thing. That's just very nasty. And hopefully, no one is on a cruise down this way, because the swells from this thing are going to be huge, huge swells coming off this thing. Did hit some of these leeward and windward islands here, and then like I said, it's moving. Looks like more of a northwest, more northwest now than it was earlier. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. So let's take a look at the latest. All right, here's the latest from National Hurricane Center. The intermediate advisory will be a full advisory out, I believe, around 10 or 11 this evening. But maximum sustained winds, 155 miles per hour now. just a few miles per hour off that Cat 5, which it should make it. Movement is west northwest of 21, but you can see that eye wall looked like it was kind of wobbling a little bit, but moving more northwest now. So we'll see how this plays out. But 155-mile-per-hour winds, probably gusts up to 180. Uh, that's just I wouldn't want to be anywhere close to that. That's just horrible conditions. Swells off this thing are going to be battering parts of southern Puerto Rico, down here towards Haiti and Dominican Republic, and under a tropical storm warning. Southern parts of the coast, Jamaica is under hurricane warning as well. Parts of the Yucatan Peninsula, I would say you're probably going to be under hurricane watch probably by either late tomorrow or early Wednesday, as this is making a trek right towards parts of the Yucatan Peninsula, and where it goes from there is a big question mark. All depends on this high placement. If you joined me last night, there's actually a high basically over the Arklatex. It's gonna meander, basically move towards the southeast, and then there's going to be a trough coming down early next week. So how strong of a dip that trough is going to make? Will it pull this system up towards the United States? That's still a big question mark as of right now. But let's take a look at some computer models on this thing. Here's all the hurricane models thrown in together. This has been wavering back and forth all day. When I woke up this morning, all these tracks were south, and then coming into basically far southwestern Gulf of Mexico. Now it's starting to waver back north. So we're going to get these wobbles all over the place until we get closer to figure out how strong this trough is going to be in the northern parts of the United States, and where this high pressure is going to be, because the stronger trough will pick this up, and this high pressure will go off the southeastern coast and bring this thing. More than likely, it'll come through the Yucatan Peninsula, but where it goes from there, once it comes back to into the Gulf of Mexico, remains to be seen. A lot of models take it over towards Mexico, but a lot of them are stalling it. Will it pick up? Will this thing pick up and then shove it towards Texas or Louisiana? We'll have to wait and see. But we have a lot of time to think about it, or actually watch this thing for a little bit. We're still about a week away for possible impacts across the Gulf of Mexico, so we'll see how this plays out. But let's take a look at some other models here from the GFS, Canadian, and the European. Alrighty, here is the Canadian model, the CMC model. So the black squares, that's the mean. So basically all the members of the Canadian put together, and that's where the mean goes. So the black line basically goes across the Yucatan. So Yucatan Peninsula is more than likely going to get hit with this thing. And then what it does after it crosses that over, which will weaken it to possibly a tropical storm. And then as it gets over the Gulf of Mexico, probably re-strengthen. But the mean has it going, basically slowing down, waiting for it to get picked up. So this has it going more basically stalling it, then slowly meandering northwest, then north and northeast with some of these models. So that's the mean. So we go into the control model, into the circle, these purple circles over the Yucatan Peninsula, coming into the Gulf of Mexico and hitting southern parts of Texas. The deterministic model and the purple triangles here is going towards far southern Texas, northeastern Mexico, and then you can see some of these lines tracking it towards the remnants going up through Texas, into Arkansas, Missouri, and possibly through the Ohio River Valley. But we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. This is just one model run here with all its members. So let's take a look at the GFS and the Euro as of right now. All right, this is the European model, and as you can see, general consensus until it hits Jamaica. Then look at the wide range of spans on tracks here. So, like I said, the black square is the mean between all the members of the Euro. The purple triangles is the deterministic model, and the O's are control models here. So of the European. So a lot of it comes towards the Yucatan. and then as it heads over, gets back into the Gulf of Mexico, it kind of, like I said, it kind of stalls out, meanders around, and some of these members, some of these members pick it up and head it towards Texas or Louisiana, and then the remnants go through Arkansas or in through parts of Mississippi into Tennessee. So um, we can't discount this scenario as of right now. The more likely scenario will be going through the Yucatan, going through parts of the southwestern parts of the Gulf, and going towards maybe northeastern parts of Mexico. That's the most likely scenario right now, but we can't discount um, with more members of models starting to pick up on it, the trough being a little bit stronger up in the northern parts of the country here, which will shove this high a little bit further east and pick this thing up and head it towards the Gulf of Mexico, or headed towards the Texas and possibly Louisiana Gulf Coast. So we'll just have to wait and see. Got to stay weather aware over the next week or so because we've got to figure out where this thing is going. Once we get probably later this week, we'll have a very good idea where this thing's going to go because more members will start honing in on the solution, how strong this trough will be, where this high pressure will be. A lot of different pieces of the puzzle we got to put together on where this thing will eventually go if it hits the United States. All right, here's the latest GFS, 18Z, which is more and more concerning because it's thinking it's going to have a stronger trough. And this high pressure is going to go off the East Coast here, southeastern coast, and there's a lot more model members here within the GFS that are bringing it towards Texas and possibly towards western Louisiana, and then the remnants go through Arkansas and through the Ohio River Valley. So we got to see how this plays out. But this latest GFS run is a lot more concerning as of late because this morning, like I said, all these model members were down here hitting Mexico. So you could see some of these members, even right around Jamaica, start diverging very much, and then going just keeping that northwest track, and then entering the Gulf, and then heading right towards Texas or Louisiana. So we got to stay. Like I said, if you're in Texas, Louisiana, or you're thinking about vacationing there later this week or into next week, or later this weekend into next weekend, you got to stay up on the weather because things could change on a dime here. Like I said, we have a lot of moving parts and pieces that we have to figure out where this high pressure is going to go. Because right now it's over basically Texas into Oklahoma. It's going to be slowly moving east. Big a little trough going to come down. Piece of energy is going to come down in northern plains late this weekend, early next week. How strong that trough will be the biggest question, because if it's strong, the high pressure will move off the coast here, southeastern coast, and then it will pull Hurricane Beryl up into possibly Texas and Louisiana. All right, if we have a trough that's weak, the high pressure will stay possibly over parts of the southeast, and then the more likely scenario would be into parts of Mexico instead of hitting the United States. So like I said, a lot of moving puzzles and pieces we got to figure out, but we have, luckily, this is not like a tornado. We have time. We can see this thing coming. So you got to stay prepared regardless. Think about those hurricane preparation kits. If you have that tote downstairs, you live along Gulf Coast, you may want to go look, make sure you have all those little necessary supplies that you can put in a tote or whatever. So we'll be live every night now until this thing basically either goes into Mexico or hopefully not goes into the United States. We don't want that at all because it's too early in the season for something like this. But we've been talking about this since mid-March, that this is going to be basically a season from hell. I hate to say that, but we've already had we're Speaking of that remember that system? If you joined me last night, there was a little system down the southwestern parts of Mexico or southwestern parts of Gulf of Mexico that actually got into a tropical storm status briefly last night. So we've already had tropical storm Chris now. We possibly have another system behind Beryl here that could be the next name system. So continues continues to happen here. So all right, so that's the latest as of Monday evening. We'll be live again tomorrow night, probably between 9:30 and 10. That's our most likely target range going forward here. So that gives you kind of a heads up, kind of stay active on our page. Um, so, all right, thanks so much. Stay safe out there. And like I said, it's going to be hot over the next few days, especially Texas over towards Arkansas, slowly bleeding east as we go through the rest of the week.